You know, the SEO landscape is something that's constantly changing. Google has hundreds of ranking signals. Some newer ones have come out and been more prominent of late. But I want to ask the panel a little bit of what are the things that are really working now and where are you putting some of your focus?
Well, I think there's always going to be a place for technical SEO, but as we're coming to find out, technical SEO has a very short half-life. There's only so much technical stuff you can do to the site before it's, pretty much, going in fifth gear on the highway, right? A lot of the growth that we see that is involved in SEO is in content, right? Producing content for your site, not only from the marketing perspective, but on blogs, written content, videos. Content could take a number of forms, but that's really kind of the biggest growth area that each individual site has. You always have to be moving. SEO is constantly evolving, and so should your website.
Yeah, so again, I focus on content discoverability for a creative agency. So when we look at creating content, producing content, we look at distribution with search and social engines. So once we formulate certain hypotheses around this content's going to do this and that based on this variable, let's say CTA versus this other CTA, the main thing that's been working now is just experimentation prior to campaign launch. So search and social engines are becoming much, much more similar to each other. The algorithms are picking up the same intent signals. So can you actually put the same hypothesis and actually distribute it to both search and social engines and see which of those variables actually works better. We do 1 week to 2 week testing where each variable will last 2 or 3 days. We get those insights back, and then based on those insights, we actually have a pretty strong assumption of what type of content, the format, the type of CTA, the type of image will actually work. And then we start actually producing a lot more content after that. So it could be one piece of content, maybe several pieces of content for experiments. But then out of that learning, it could actually expand to 5 to 10 videos. So it's the best thing that actually is working for us is just constant experimentation right to a campaign launch.
A lot of the evolution that we've seen on our media verticals has to do with what's the right measure, what's the right length of the content that we are writing for. And what we've been working lately is most of it try to discover on those particular verticals what is Google is liking more, but most of all what the user is looking for. So we usually come up with, or users come up, or people who ask about SEO advice and stuff, they come up with questions like, what's the actual content, and what's the length of the content, and what's the format of the content that I should be writing about. And the answer to those type of things is like testing on different other verticals helps a lot. Lately, what we've done is for a particular media site that has to do with fitness and health, is we took a quick assessment of what the competitors were doing, and then we label something that we call our top 60. So we take our top 60 most known content in terms of links and in terms of queries and volume queries, keywords that they're doing for, and traffic. And then we try to, we divide it into different length. And then we take like 30% of that content, we did some particular length, the other 30% some other length, and then the remaining of the content we did a short content just to try to get quick answers to the people. And then we throw it out there to see how it was performing. And I think that one of the great discovery things that we saw is that depending on the vertical, it varies a lot. So we see like when you go to health, usability, the UX of the page helps a lot because you actually need to write a lot of long content, and that is actually preferred by Google. And when you go to fitness and different verticals, it goes a lot different because they usually are looking for quick answers. And those quick answers that Google understands it very well, because then when they trigger the open graph and different stuff that on the SERP, it's gonna start like putting direct answers to it. So I think that a good takeaway for that is experimenting on the length of the content depending on the vertical and the format. It's going to give you a lot of insight to what you want to do.
That was really some great insight from Juan. What he's referring to is Google's new RankBrain algorithm, which is a means of processing link semantic content and indexing, rather than indexing keywords, or actually indexing phrases and what do these phrases mean. and how is it relevant to content. And it's a nice juxtaposition to the length of content, because obviously that's an important factor for marketers to consider. SEO is a really interesting space, particularly since 2011, because I think the job of the SEO has shifted, where it used to be about growth hacks and staying ahead of the algorithm and what keywords am I ranking for. That's not the game that we play here in 2015 going into 2016 anymore. So the role that I look for my clients and I encourage my team to think about is, are we building a brand, a voice for our brand? And are we positioning our brand as an expert in something? And that's the way we like to think about how we produce content for our brand. Is our brand is solving, our brand has a service or product that's in the market, it's serving a need, and how do we give the brand a voice, and how do we make that voice consistent across all of our channels? That's social, that's our content, that's our guest blog content, our outreach content, even down to our banner ads. And creating that consistent brand voice is really, really important, I think, as we move into the new age of SEO and marketing.